Welp, it is official. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974. Good Lord, that's been a long time. But they finally got it done. Congratulations to the Bucks. They managed to get this win on the road without Giannis, who did not play tonight. You got to give them credit. But let's talk about the Hawks first. Shout out to the Hawks. Credit to this whole coaches, the players, just this whole team for fighting so hard. You guys were doubted from the start. Nobody believed you could get this far, and you managed to get to the conference finals. And unfortunately, your season ends here, but you guys were 2 wins away from making the NBA Finals. You guys had a hell of a run. It's unfortunate, but this, ends up being the case for you guys. Now, Trae Young definitely did play in this game. He played, and good Lord. I'm saying he played, but really, Trae Young, you can just tell he was not himself. The ankle injury was seriously hurting him. I don't know how severe that injury was, but it was really hurting him, and it just showed out there tonight. He couldn't hit anything. And by the fourth quarter, he was gassed. He did not show up tonight because he just couldn't. You just saw the ankle injury got to him. He couldn't play it. It was bad. He couldn't hit the normal shots he was able to hit. It was tough. It was tough watching Trae Young out there tonight. And yet, no one else was really showing up for the most part in that first half. And then, honestly, the Hawks as a whole did not play a great game. They had a moment where it looked like it was all over, but Cam Reddish came off the bench, and he ignited this team to go on a run to try and close us out and keep it close. The only 2 guys who played well today was Bogdanovich and Reddish. Reddish hit like 6 threes tonight. He hit 6 threes, and he kept them alive, and he brought the energy back into the arena. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it done. Bogdanovich was keeping it close. He was trying to help out too, but nothing there. It was like 21 points from Reddish and like 20 points from Bogdanovich. They tried, but unfortunately, they couldn't get it done. This was a game where it was really on a silver platter for the Bucks if they just would have played the same way they played in Game 5. But like I say, this Bucks team, they are so obsessed with threes, they can't keep playing like this. They once again went back to their old ways in the first half. The only reason this game was close going into halftime is because they started playing stupid basketball again. Like, we're watching this team. They're doing well in the paint. We know what they did in Game 5. They should have easily continued that in Game 6. They didn't. They had 28 points in the paint in the first quarter of Game 5. The first half of Game 6, they had 20. What? They went back to their old ways and they started shooting threes. If you saw how poor the Hawks were playing in the first half, you would have thought they would have been down by double digits. But no, they were only down 4 going into halftime. And that was because the Bucks wanted to continue to play this style of basketball where they're going to just keep throwing up threes and hoping they make them. Well, fortunately for them, those threes started to hit in the second half because they didn't stop shooting threes in the second half. They just started hitting those threes. It was just a night where the second half just was a different game from the first half in terms of three-point shooting. They couldn't hit a lick for most of this season. They couldn't hit a lick in the first half. Well, they actually had 5 threes in the first half, but I think they were like, 5 and 19? They shot terrible from the 3 in the first half, but the second half, those threes started hitting, and it all started with one man. Let's switch over to the Bucks. Player of the game, Chris Middleton with 32 points. This man tonight, he played terrible in the first half. Terrible. I believe he went into the halftime with 5 points. He finished the game with 32. And that was because of the amazing third quarter he had in this game. He dropped 23 points in the third quarter. 23. He is the main reason they got that lead. He came out here and he started hitting like back-to-back threes. He was hitting everything. Hitting mid-range jumpers, getting to the basket, hitting threes. He couldn't miss. 23 points in the third quarter. He took over. And in the fourth quarter, here comes Jrue Holiday, the second best player on the court. He showed up and he started hitting threes and he started making baskets and he contributed as well. Him, like Middleton and Chris Holiday, these 2 guys needed to show up tonight and close this game. And by God, did they do that in the second half. credit to them. Just credit to them. Credit to them. Credit to this whole Bucks team because, again, the three-point shot just started to hit. It started to hit in key moments of this game. You know, that second half was just a difference maker for the Bucks. You know, their threes started to drop. But most importantly, Chris Middleton started getting it going. And you needed him to get it going tonight because, again, with Giannis down, Chris Middleton is the best player. He needs to show up. Drew Holiday needs to show up. Fortunately, both of these guys showed up in the second half. They balled out. And that's why Milwaukee's heading to the NBA Finals. So, good on them. But, yeah, this Bucks team is so frustrating to watch because, like, you understand they can dominate in the paint. They had the size advantage in the series. They just came off of a Game 5 where that's what they did. And yet Game 6, they want to go back to shooting threes. Like, it's so frustrating watching this team. What are they thinking half the time? You clearly have an advantage. Why not utilize it? Why not take advantage of the size difference? But no, they want to continue to chuck up threes. And it just so happens to be the second half, they started hitting those threes. You got PJ Tucker in the corner. He's hitting clutch threes. It just turned around. And it was just one of those games where, like, the three got going in the second half, which usually doesn't happen for a lot of teams. Especially if you're cold in the first half, you don't all of a sudden just start to heat up from three. That doesn't really happen like that. But tonight, it definitely did happen for the Bucks. They started hitting more threes. Chris Middleton was the one that was leading the charge. And then the fourth quarter, Drew Holiday pitched in, and he started playing well. And that was pretty much what helped close the game. So credit to those two guys. Credits to the Bucks. And, yeah, they're heading to the NBA Finals. Once again, for the Hawks, you had a great season. Okay, a lot of people doubted you. No one thought you could get to this point, but you found a way to get it done. So, I mean, you get to get it done and get to the conference finals. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get to the finals, but you found a way to get to this point. And you were 2 games away from making the NBA Finals. So, once again, congratulations to you guys on a great season. It's unfortunate you guys are going down here, but it is part of the game. You know, it just happens to be Trae Young suffers that injury, and he's just never the same after that. He tries it tonight, and you can just tell. I'm watching him in the fourth quarter. I'm watching him like the final 5 minutes of the game, and he's just out there. He's out there, and he's just gassed. He's not even taking a shot at that point. Like, he's gassed, and then he's driving to the basket and putting it up, and it's not going in. None of his shots are hitting. None of his threes are hitting, and he's just gassed. He starts passing the ball out. Nothing he could do tonight. He was completely ineffective. And it was just tough to see Trae Young go out like that, but it is what it is. So, yeah, credit to them for getting this far. Unfortunate that Trae Young suffers that injury. That was definitely a big difference maker, but at the end of the day, it's part of the game, man. It's part of the game. I just hate that all these injuries have to happen. Like, every star is getting injured this postseason. And it's definitely, you know, impacting the outcome of these games. But what can you do? Injuries are a part of the game. It's unfortunate, but it's something that happens. So you have to deal with it. And it sucks that this is how it ends up being for both the Clippers and the Hawks. But this is just what happens. This is how it is this season. Injuries are part of the game. You can't get mad at the Bucks for just playing who's in front of them. And at the end of the day, Giannis got injured too. So what can you do? But with that being said, once again, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. And just like I had it, I got the Bucks and the Suns in the finals. I like this matchup. I wanted this matchup, and I got this matchup because this is going to be such a great narrative. Giannis, when he gets healthy and he gets back, but Giannis out there in the finals, finally, for the first time in his career, because his career path has been very similar to LeBron James. Only difference is he chose to stay in Milwaukee. Despite that disappointing conference loss to the Raptors, and then the loss last year to my Miami Heat, where we just decimated them. Despite that, he chose to stay loyal to the franchise, and now here they are a year later in the NBA Finals. Once he gets healthy, he'll be playing in the NBA Finals, and now the narrative for him is, can he finally break through? We've had conversations about Giannis potentially being the best player in the game. Now he has an opportunity to put that in. Let's not forget, he went toe-to-toe with Kevin Durant in that Game 7 and managed to last. He managed to come out the winner, and the Bucks managed to come out victorious. So now is their time. They got to go and capitalize on this. They got to go finish this thing off with a championship. You cannot beat Kevin Durant and that Nets team, despite the fact that they were injury-riddled, but you cannot go head-to-head with Kevin Durant in a Game 7 and come out the victor and not somehow finish us off with the championship. So the narrative for Giannis is going to be there. I'm sure we'll definitely talk about it. But the narrative for the Suns also there, because this is Chris Paul's finest hour. He's finally made his first ever NBA Finals 16 years into his career. His long journey has finally led him to the finals. And we don't know if he's going to get another opportunity like this. So now it's the time for him to capitalize on this. You don't know if the Suns are going to be in the final next year with the way the Western Conference is going to work and with the way the Eastern Conference is going to work with all these stars getting healthy. Both these teams may not have an opportunity to get to the finals next year. So Chris Paul, and with Chris Paul, we know he's up there in age. He doesn't have many years left to be in the NBA. So, or at least to be playing at this high of a level. So it's time. Will Chris Paul finally cap off his amazing career with a championship that could potentially launch him into the top 5 for greatest point guards to ever play this game? Or will Giannis, a man that's been fighting to become the best, a man that's had a similar career path to LeBron James in search of that title for this Milwaukee team, a team that has not had success since the 70s, will he finally deliver a championship to them? I can't wait to see this matchup. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. I can't wait to cover it. It should be fun. With that being said, that is all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.